Hi everyone, my name is Adam. Welcome to the first video of this series where I'm going to be showing you how I made this animation in Blender. This scene is inspired by Dark Souls 3 as I played that recently, and I have got two reference images I'm using online, so I will share those reference images in the description for you to download if you want to take a look at them as well. The way I'm going to style these videos is by speeding up the footage where I'm not really saying or doing anything that important, I'm just modeling some basic things, and when I feel like I need to talk about what I'm doing, I will set the speed of the video to a normal speed just so these videos don't get really long, and that way I can kind of talk through the process a bit more. Just to point out as well, usually when I'm doing the Blockout, I will start with just a character model that I download from online just to kind of get a reference of the scale of everything to make sure I don't make anything too big or too small. But for this video, I'm just gonna make things a bit quicker, and I am just gonna kind of guess the sizes of everything, and hopefully it will end up okay. I can change it later if I need to. Now I'm just going to quickly explain how I'm going to make these doors work in this scene. I want the camera to kind of start back here and zoom in and go upwards towards the top of the doors here at kind of head level, as if you're standing here at the top of the steps. So as the camera's moving in, I'm going to have each of these two doors open, so I'll just explain quickly how I do that. Firstly, I need a bit more thickness on both these doors, so I'll just do this for now, just something very easy. And I've also purposely had them sticking out of the frame here, so they don't kind of collide when they move, otherwise that would sort of break the immersion a bit in the animation. So for this right door here, I'm going to go into edit mode, and I want the door to rotate open from this corner here, right? So I'm going to put my cursor here, then I'm going to put my origin here as well. Now with my timeline up here so I can see it, I'm going to press I at the beginning to freeze the kind of transform here, or to save it as a iframe. Now if I play forward a little bit, maybe at around frame 75, I want the doors to start opening, so I'm going to press I to freeze it here as well, so it will stay still. Then I can decide how long I want the door to actually open for, maybe 100 frames, just like this. And then I just have to press RZ, then -90 to open, press I again, and now we have an animation of the door slowly opening. Obviously there's a gap in the door here, So I could just move the doors back a little bit if I want to do that, but that's how I'm going to do the animations for the doors. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other one here now as well. So as you can see, I'm having a bit of a problem with the animation here. So if you do try and do the same thing as me, just delete all the keyframes and start again. It's always going to be the easiest option. And now I have the animation for the doors working a lot better. So they just slowly open as the camera's going to tilt over this direction. So I'm actually going to add the camera into the scene now and start to do the animation, because I like to get an idea of what the camera can actually see, so I can add my blockout according to what is going to be in the view in the final render. So I'm not going to waste time kind of adding a wall here, going further along, if the camera's not even going to see it. So I'm just going to come up here and add the camera. Right now it's going to spawn kind of with these weird transforms, so I'll just press N and reset all of them. And to do this, I'm going to make it a lot easier by opening up a second window. And this view will be of the side, and then this view over here will be of the actual camera itself. And firstly, I would like this screen size to be kind of more square. So I'm going to make it 2048 for the Y and 2048. Put the camera in the correct position. I'm going to go to this side here, press R, and just have it sitting around about up here somewhere, maybe head level kind of around about there. And then I need to figure out how long I want this camera to kind of be moving about for, and all the timings of everything. So right now, press I to hold it in place here. Then let's say for the first maybe 50 frames, it's just going to be sitting in the middle here. Then maybe till, let's see, to about 175, we can have the camera move up towards the door. I'm going to put it right here so it's just about looking still at the doors either side. Then I'm going to see how high up we are firstly. Can do that a little bit higher maybe. I'll keep it around about here. And I'm going to press I again to save the position here. Now for the rest of the animation, it will just be looking down this big hallway that we're going to fill up later on, so we can check how this looks now. So there are a few things I want to change, because I think that's a little bit quick when it moves from down here to up the top. So I'm going to move this from around 175 to maybe 225, and I'll make this animation around about 300 frames long. So if we go back to the start again, you can see how that looks. Prefer that a bit more, but I still think it's a bit quick, so I'm going to move this one back to maybe 25. And I think that looks a lot better now. It's nice and slow. Now one other thing I'm going to add now while I'm doing all the camera animations is actually add a bit of kind of camera shaking, not really shaking, but slow kind of movements to make it look a bit more natural, because if the camera's completely still the whole time, it's just going to make the scene look very fake, because in real life it's going to be very hard to get that perfect position. So I'm going to open up the graph editor here, and I can see my camera because I've got it selected. I'll open up the transforms, and I can check my X location. If I go to modifiers, I can add a noise modifier. Now I've done a bit of testing before this, and I find that scale of 75 and strength of 0.2 works pretty well. And I can do the same thing here. If I go noise 75.2 here, noise 75.2. Now I'll check they're all correct, and they are. If I look at my animation again, you can see the camera is kind of rotating about a little bit the whole time. And now even at the end, when we're looking down the hallway, it's going to keep kind of slowly moving about, which will just make it look a lot more natural. And I'm happy with that for now, so I can continue with the blockout. I'm also, while I'm here now, going to turn on, the face orientation, so I can see what way the kind of face normals are. I recommend doing this basically all the time because even like for my door here I can see everything's facing the wrong way, so if I try and kind of do anything with this now it's going to look really weird, but now that it's facing the correct way everything will look a bit more normal and work properly. Now another thing I'm going to point out is in the corner here, it's going to look really weird, but in this animation the camera isn't actually going to be able to see into this corner, so I don't need to waste time kind of making it look good. So I just wanted to show that because it'd be a massive waste of time if I was to add a bunch of detail back here which is hidden behind the door. So if you are following along or creating an animation like this, just remember that where the camera can't see, there's no point in adding detail to. Now just while I'm blocking out this scene I will quickly say as well, if you are interested in seeing any of the other work I've made on Blender or any other kind of game design related projects, I will leave my Instagram and ArtStation link in the description of this video. If you want to go follow me there, feel free to. I will follow anyone back. And yeah, you can see the rest of my work there. Sometimes while doing the blockout as well, it's helpful to go back and just rewatch the animation from the camera to see where about everything is and what makes it into the frame. So for example, I know this bit is quite tall, it doesn't really fit in the camera, so what I can do is just increase the size of this entire section here, move this more further along, and you'll get a better view of it in the camera. So now that I've moved this over a bit, if I check here again, you can see a lot more of it, and there'll be a lot more point in adding detail up here because the camera again can see it a lot clearer. I'm actually going to move it even further along just because I really want a lot of detail in this hallway here. And I'm also going to increase the size of the entire scene here, everything I've got selected, and the way I'm going to do that is by selecting all of my objects, going to the very first one which is closest to the camera, first deselect the camera as well. If I go into edit mode, select everything, go to press 2 and just select this edge here, or I'll select this edge here first, and then I'm going to set my cursor right here, right to the beginning of the scene. Then if I set my transform pivot point to the 3D cursor, I could just scale up and scale the whole thing up maybe by 1.25, enter. Now the whole thing's going to be a lot bigger, so I might need to move everything. The doors are also going to get messed up with the animation because they're saved to move down there, so I'll need to redo them, but that's how I can change the entire size of the entire scene. I'm also going to redo the camera while I'm here now, because when I change the scale with everything, the camera doesn't really fit the scene anymore. So I'm just going to see if I can simply change the location manually now. I'm also going to move the camera focal length out a little bit because I kind of want to get more detail up here so I can add a bit more to it. And if I want to as well, I can also rotate the camera to kind of look at where I want the camera to a bit more. So if I'll have it looking up like this, just place an iframe there, and animation will start looking this way. Now I'll just quickly explain why I'm adding edge loops here. It's because I want to have pillars going up each of these areas where I've made the edge loops, and I'm going to model those pillars separately, and I need this vertex here to be able to snap the pillar base to. and with all the lines here, the edges being symmetrically placed, 4 on each side of the middle point, I can just easily have everything nicely measured out, and I don't need to manually kind of move everything out, which will be just a bit tedious. So when I'm making this block out as well, I'm really going to keep everything quite low detail, and then just make everything a lot more detailed later. So for example, I'm doing some really basic patterns on this pillar here, just to kind of get an idea of the shapes and things, and then later on I'm going to make them look much nicer. Okay, so I think for now I'm kind of happy with this block out. It is really quite simple at the moment. It is just very basic shapes, but I might do a bit more moving about, and I'm definitely going to add a lot more detail to everything later on. But for now, this is what I have. I'm pretty sure it's everything I wanted to kind of get done in the first video. My plan is to kind of have maybe some plants in this bit here, a bit of overgrown grass and just plants and things popping out, and then throughout the whole scene I'm going to have a lot of that as well, like grass and stone bricks and stuff here. Same on the stairs here, but it's going to be a lot more kind of like stone on the steps coming out, maybe like a bit of wood as well. And then I'll make these doors look quite cool, because this is meant to be the entrance to a kind of temple sort of thing, and maybe I'll have some torches either side here and a bit of nice lighting. I'm going to add a HDRI soon as well, but that will all come later. And then it's just from now adding a bunch of detail to this hallway, and yeah, this will be it for the first video. Thank you for watching.